Hello, Frugal Force. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty. Now, granted, here I'm doing a video that's nothing exactly completely new. It's been covered a lot by Diversity in Comics and Captain Cummings and everything, but I'm going to give you more of a business take on it because that's my background. All right, and this was an article from Bleeding Cool by Rich Johnson. It says 2 more comic stores to close: Legacy Comics and the Comic Book Collector. It says here, the Comic Book Collector, is one of the first comic book stores in Canada, opening 38 years ago in 1979. Current owner Tim Morris is blaming Marvel Comics. So this comic book store has had a large history, so they should have a good idea of what they're doing at this point. Now, granted, it will say Marvel Comics is not the only issue here, okay, just for the record. Also, marketplace competition and summer construction. But with that said, most businesses, if they plan well, they can handle that kind of thing. But here's the kicker here. It says also that Marvel Comics has neglected its print products in favor of blockbuster movie adaptations featuring Wolverine, the Avengers, Captain America, and Iron Man. And I don't 100% agree with that. They haven't abandoned them, but they surely haven't been putting the care into them. And they're definitely having a major marketing disconnect. And I'll get into that a little bit. So one of the biggest factors in the sales decline, Morris says, is the proliferation of needless low-quality books over the last few years from Marvel Comics especially. Marvel Comics has been doing a bunch of crap for the last 5 years. And if you look, that's usually right around the time where Marvel's really been pushing politics hard and started with a lot of their SJW antics. Now, some will say they're trying to market to that group, and I even have said that on a couple occasions, and I think I may have been mistaken. I don't really necessarily think they're marketing to the SJW crowd. What happened is they've hired a bunch of SJWs and people with a particular political slant and allowed that to proliferate into the books and take over. So now the messages are all based on that political slant and those things and that ideology, which in general the comic buying market is sick of seeing. So it's not as much marketing, it's just what they've become. And so it seems like they're marketing, because if you look, Marvel hasn't done crap for marketing the comics except hit the same group over and over again. Have they branched out to try to get new readers? Not necessarily. They keep hitting the same group, just now with this SJW message, and drove away the readers. A lot of them, if they were really marketing, they would try to increase where their marketing penetration is and penetrate new areas and things like that. And one of the ways to do that logistically is by having products on more shelves. And what I mean by that, and I'm going to go into that just in this next section here too, and I'll get in a little bit more depth there. But also it mentions here, where there once was a single monthly title starring a self-reflected mutant hero, Deadpool, there are now 4. Give me one good Deadpool book. And that makes a lot of good points. If you look at my video I did previously about the price point of comics, for example, Marvel is $3.99 an issue. A person just got done watching the movie might want to go, I'm going to check out a Deadpool comic. And at $3.99 a pop, they might buy one. But if there's 4 of them, and they go, wow, at $3.99, that's almost $16. Am I going to spend that much in 1 month? And it's probably going to actually push them away. What Marvel and DC and any comic publisher needs to do is do some statistical analysis and see how much a new customer is actually willing to spend. My guess is with a good character, they can probably support 1 or 2 titles if written very well. So that reader might go, hey, I'll spend $8 and read 2 books, whereas they probably wouldn't have bought any at 16 because it overwhelmed them. Well, maybe they would have lost out if they only published 1, and that's something they'd have to feel out doing some statistical marketing analysis, which is very doable, by the way. Now, with that said, there comes another problem, and I'm going to lead to that another issue, couple issues actually. It says also diversity, and what I want to point out, first of all, I keep getting hit with this in comments. We are not anti-diversity. Absolutely not. I grew up loving lots of diverse characters. I'm a huge Luke Cage fan. I loved Wonder Woman, so I didn't care what the gender or the color of their skin is. Like Rhodey, I loved War Machine. Even before he was War Machine, he was a great supporting cast member previously. I never had any issues. I liked Captain Marvel as, the Monica Rambeau. I love Shang-Chi. It has nothing to do with that. I want good characters and good stories. So what he put here is that he'll have customers come in the stores fresh from the multiplex who are confused because they don't understand why Hulk's alter ego, Bruce Banner, is dead, and Spider-Man's Hispanic, and Thor's a woman. And that's absolutely the point. If you go and you watch one, remember, you're trying to capture new readers. And you would say one of these new people watch the movie and go, wow, I'm interested in Steve Rogers. So they go to the store. They go out of their way to go to a comic shop and pick up a Captain America book, and they get Nazi Cap. disconnect. Well, they're going, what is this? This isn't Steve Rogers Captain America. They pick up Thor, and it's not Thor Odinson. Even though the character might be good, it's not what they were wanting. It's a marketing disconnect. People want to buy what they expect and expect to get what they were trying to purchase. And when they buy these, they're not getting what they expect, and it turns them off the market. And so now they've lost a new potential customer. So on top of that, the other part, as I mentioned, is they need more books in more places. Okay? They have an issue with that. And if you don't have products where people will buy them, they won't. So I'll give you an example. If, let's say, you're energized to buy something new, a new video game system or something like that, you know, anytime you want something new, there's sort of an energy and excitement about that. But the longer you wait, the more that energy dissipates. And if you don't allow them to have that product, so in other words, it's not in the place that they need, they can't get that product, and the energy runs out, you've lost that sale. So you have to capture that sale while that energy is there for that new product. And the problem is it's not. In most cases, the Marvel or DC and all these books are only at comic shops. So therefore, they need to get these at grocery stores and on other shelves, and other entertainment venues. So they leave that movie and they go, wow, man, I might want to check out a Hulk book. And then they could pick up a Hulk book at a grocery store when they see it, say, hey, there's a Hulk book. I'm going to check that out. And so they grab that Hulk book, and it's going to be about the same Bruce Banner Hulk that they watched in the movie, not a disconnect with Cho Hulk. So there's a couple issues there. So they need to have that where the product is obtainable, and it needs to be somewhat relative to what they've seen so they can understand the character and continue to get more in that, rather than go, hey, this isn't what I was expecting. So there was two clear disconnects that Marvel's been killing stores with. Now granted, to do that, that means we need to get the comic books in more shelves, Walmarts, Targets, grocery stores, things like that. Yes, that is going to temporarily hurt the comic book store, because now it's going to increase their competition. But if by doing that they grow the fan base, ask any old schooler that was buying comic books off the rack like myself. You're not going to get every issue. You're going to miss them. Sometimes they're hard to get. You get there, oh, I missed this issue. And what are you going to do? You're going to run to the comic shop. And that new reader runs to the comic shop and gets an explosion of new energy of, wow, there's all these books and all these characters. And they're probably going to try something if the price point is right. And there's that another problem, as I mentioned. At $3.99, getting a little tough. We have to make sure the price point's right. Because right now also sales, the low sales is hurting Marvel due to economies of scale. I do mention that in my numbers video as well. But just to reiterate a little bit there, the more comics they produce, the less it costs them to manufacture per issue, because they only have to pay the writer and the artist once, as well as setting up the printing and all that. So it reduces cost per page and per issue. And the more you reduce costs, the more profit you make per issue. So as we grow readership, people are buying more, you can actually have a lower price and earn more money. The problem is they've kept hitting the same target market, and they're actually pushing that same market away, reducing their sales, decreasing the amount of profit they make per book. So they up the comic book price to make up the difference in profit, and then push even more readers out, because people go, well, I might have been willing at $2.99, but I'm not willing to purchase at $3.99. So they've actually even hurt their sales more. So they need to decrease their price point. They need better market penetration by getting their product out in more places so more people can get them. So product needs to be better too. The product needs to match what their intentions are, and they need good promotion. They actually got the promotion with the movies. Now it also says they cite something Brian Bendis was talking about at a London Super Comic Con yesterday, saying, but many of those children and teens don't want to read about Batman. They want to be Batman, which immersive video games allow them to do. They don't need the books, and I call that absolutely malarkey. Think about this. If kids didn't care to read, why did Harry Potter sell so well? What it is they want to read things they want to read. That's the key. It has to be something good, or something at least they want. Whereas when they pick up a book and it doesn't match what they just got hyped up and interested over, they're not going to continue to want to buy it. Once again, there's that disconnect. Also, the price point also there hits them too. If you can go buy a new video game, which granted, a new one's expensive, like $70, they're going to get a lot of hours of play. Whereas a comic book, you're going to get 5 to 10 minutes of reading. Now, granted, then they can go to their GameStop or whatever game shop they want to and probably buy a used copy of Batman, Arkham, you know, whatever, for $6 or less. And that game's going to last them 8+ hours. A comic book, once again, 5 to 10 minutes. That price point is killing them. They need to add better value. So overall, that artwork has to be great. The stories have to be great. It has to match what they're seeing on the movies and things that bring them in. And then they have to actually be able to see that product so we can grow the market, so they can grow. And if those grocery shops and stores and Walmarts and stuff starts pumping and selling, it's going to increase the desire to go to comic shops and buy more and bring it all up. Because otherwise, right now, the way it's going, I hate to say, but I see sales continuing to decrease. And I only thing I can see is more stores shutting down, or they're going to have to diversify what they sell even more just to stay afloat. Alright, so as you see, I hammered this with a very big business perspective. As Marvel keeps looking at a micro tactic, hitting the same group and expecting different results, when they need to branch out, use the movie's popularity and stuff, and build on that. So for example, you know, people love the Falcon on the Captain America movie. Myself, I've always liked Falcon, even in the comic books, but man, in the movie, he was fantastic. I would expect to go on the shelves in a grocery store and I see that comic book about the Falcon, and it's the same Falcon character, and he's awesome. I'd want to read that book, not pick up and go, hey, this isn't Falcon, what's going on? You know, so that's my view. What's yours view on this? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm missing the mark on something? Or do you think I'm dead on? If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notifications bell, because otherwise you're probably not going to hear about this video. If you do want to help support me, you can go to my VidMe channel, just type in Captain Frugal, and you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month, or even give just a one-time tip. And if you can't afford that, that's okay too. You can always help out Frugal Force by supplying fan art or sending me tweets and things with ideas for stories. We're all inclusive, we're not exclusive here. We want everybody to join in, because we just want to talk and have a good time and see this industry flourish. And also, if you want to continue to make sure you get more stories and more articles and videos, you can check me out at thehenchmanslounge.com. Alright guys, thank you, and until next time, keep it frugal.